Welcome, residents. We're sitting outside on a very sunny day. I'm right here in the courtyard. Now, this is the courtyard in front of the mansion building at Carnwath. As you can see behind me, we have really a lovely memorial circle. The plaque that you will see is actually the dedication, the official dedication ceremony for Carnwath, which occurred back in 2003. Thanks to one of our Eagle Scouts, Liam Byrne, he did his Eagle Scout project and took what was really a mess, had overgrown and all sorts of plants that were wild. And so I think you can see he did a fantastic job fixing it up. We've also done work, actually Joey Cavaccini dedicated his time and money to repairing the flagpole and putting a new flag up there. In that case, no town monies, were spent, for it. So we're maintaining our conservative approach, which I hope will open up a little bit more in the weeks ahead. As we're sitting out here, and just again, I want to invite you, to come on out, enjoy this park and others. A beautiful day. We have people walking around, exercising, and I think this weekend we'll probably see, the entire parking lot over here, crowded as it has been. So we've observed people, following social distancing. They're doing a good job of it, and I really appreciate our residents' conscientiousness in doing that. I wanted to talk a little bit about the town board, our board meeting, and some of the other things we're doing. First, really as a follow-up, with respect to our businesses, we are working on plans, with respect to reopening. As I said, there is a number of documents that are taking place with respect to protocols. And those businesses, we have a questionnaire that will be going out shortly, as well as this checklist for compliance. So anybody that has questions from the business community, please do not hesitate, to contact me, to reach out to me or any one of our councilmen and women. With respect to the board meeting, I'd encourage you all to watch the last couple of board meetings that we did by Zoom. It's out there on our various channels. And this past meeting that occurred on last Monday night, I focused it almost like a workshop, in that we had reports from our, a number of our department heads and consultants. We started off with a discussion by our controller, Frederick Oito, who gave a very comprehensive update through his first quarter report, talking about the financial condition, finances of the town. We have been somewhat conservative, but not foolish in the way that we've approached town services and repairs and maintenance. As a result, though, we're in a pretty good, financial position with a good fund balance and also cash in the bank. So we have not really had to do anything drastic within the town. Our employees have continued to work, albeit mostly from home, and we'll be talking a little bit more about protocols for reopening the town hall. Recreation department, also reported. I think the biggest challenge right now relates to how can we enhance our programs for and throughout the community. This is particularly true for our seniors, and we're working on a variety of digital programs for that. But also here in Carnwath, just in front of me, below the chapel building, which now is nearly ready to open. We've gotten the roof is a lot of slate tiles, extensive amount, beautiful slate tiles. And thanks to the board, we had authorized the repair, the replacement of those tiles. That is done. The one remaining thing for the chapel roof is to put a copper cap across the top to reduce, to eliminate the leaking. Once we do that, then we, with a little bit of house cleaning inside, we'll be able to open up. It has a state-of-the-art sound system already that we've done. And further, on the first floor of what we call the Reese Cultural Center, we have a couple thousand square feet room that we, think that we'll be able to use for our recreation center and our senior, center. It has sufficient, more than sufficient space to allow for social distancing and programs that would not put people in high risk, such as at current town hall room. In addition, we have a large room under the chapel, another reason for getting the chapel in shape, that can be a multi-purpose room, including, for yoga, Tai Chi, classes when there's inclement weather and you can't do it outside here in this beautiful park. Jessica Fulton is also working on our summer camp program. We are in extensive discussions throughout the county on how, if and when, we can open up. Under the phased approach that I've mentioned before, recreation programs would not be allowed to open until phase 4. And the most important thing about summer camp is how do we protect the health and safety of our young residents who would be using that and participating in that program, and also without contaminating anybody else at home, particularly their parents and grandparents. So that we just submitted, I think it was altogether a 5-page document to the county for their review and approval. If and when we are allowed to open up, what would we have to do with respect to that? The tax assessor has reported, if you watch the town board meetings, that there was no revaluation this year. The only assessments that were made are related to where somebody completed the addition of a garage or a basement or some other structure that required a building permit to be issued. So those are the only ones that we had. We expect that next year we'll get back to a reval of some degree. Buildings and Grounds gave an update, particularly with respect to our ongoing park maintenance, as well as sanitation of our various buildings that will be open to the public at some point again. The Building and Code Department has continued to operate. We have not really lost a heartbeat. That's been deemed to be an essential business function, even though most of the folks have been working from home, driving their personal cars to inspection sites. As you've seen, the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board have, like our town board, re-established meetings digitally, and we are getting more and more requests for building permits. Now that construction will likely be opened up next week under phase 1 of the Restart or New York Forward programs, then we expect more activities in that area. You will hear our town engineer talk about a number of the important projects that we have continued to work on. We did not stop. The town government did not stop at all, during this first couple months of COVID-19. It will be now almost 2 months, early next week, that we will have shut down completely Town Hall to protect our residents and our staff. But among the projects that we discussed were our water and sewer projects, particularly relating to Wildwood, the Mid-Point Park water and sewer issues, highway garage update, and also Spook Hill Park. We had received a grant, a $100,000 grant over a year ago, and we are in the final process of the designs, that will, spend that particular grant money. Rockingham Park, we're in the process of having environmental engineer go out and survey as a prerequisite of the DEC for us doing some adjustments, modifications to that park. And also, I talked earlier about our Chelsea Pier and docks. The board actually approved the expenditure of monies, with respect to putting in new brackets, new bracing, that will enable us to put in the second dock. We have just one dock out there right now, but it will form an L. And so that will be done as soon as Steve Frazier is able to get to that particular work. And also we discussed tri-municipal sewer organization, into which our town sewer flows and needs for repair and maintenance in that facility, in which the town of Wappinger is the majority tenant of about 50% of that capacity. Moving on to other reports, Mike Sheehan, our highway superintendent, reported on paving. Unlike a lot of areas that are at a real challenging position on paving, the town board did authorize Mike to spend $600,000 at phase one for this year for continuing to upgrade many of our town roads and streets, especially those that had not been upgraded since 1990s. So we're moving ahead there. We will have a blood drive in the town. The Red Cross is at a serious shortage of blood plasma supplies. So we will be holding that toward the end of May, I think, or after Memorial Day weekend. We are looking at a program which was approved by the board of what we're calling the Wappinger Unsung Heroes recognition. We'll be having nominations open for our unsung heroes, that are first responders, our nurses, doctors, policemen, firemen, supermarket staff, a range of people throughout the town. We're going to have 100 of those made. There'll be lawn signs that will recognize the person, and were designed by Jessica Fulton. We also talked about town signs in our parks, and I think we're close to finalizing some uniformity to our park signs as far as rules going forward. Some other matters that were discussed really relate to resolutions that we approved, and that's particularly, we recognized, proclaimed May as National Mental Health Month. We in the town management board staff view mental health as an extremely important topic that we all need to be paying very close attention to right now, especially with the stress, very stressful situation caused by COVID-19. As a reminder, the Dutchess County has a very strong program for mental health, a major building. I do not have the contact number off the top of my head, but it is available on the Dutchess County website. We also proclaimed this as a National Older Americans Month, especially looking at our seniors as they suffer from not being able to get out and meet with us and have a variety of activities that they would normally be doing. As I said, we are looking at a range of digital activities until we can get that point of time where we can reopen. And last but by no means least, we had proclamation to recognize our graduating seniors, our various seniors who attend a range of high schools from and within, not just Wappinger, but East Fishkill, Beacon, where they go based on their locations in the town. So we really want to continue to reach out to our seniors, because this year has been a tough one, and particularly want to share with them how proud we are going forward, and hoping that they'll be able to reach out and work with us as well. So we want to remind people that also this month we're looking at, I believe next week, as National EMS Week for our emergency services providers. So please reach out to them when you can. But again, more important, when it comes to Town Hall and Town Hall reopening, our importance of that for availability to our residents is very high. We want to continue to remain diligent to address the physical and mental well-being of our town employees, not just our residents, especially as we try to make special efforts to protect our vulnerable employees. I prepared and have circulated for our board and our town employees to review a 4-page protocols that really outline the various steps that we take for protection and security. Many of these we're already doing, but I talk about reopening the town hall, which would be right now we're planning to remain physically closed through the end of May, and then we'll start a soft reopening process. But I want to emphasize that throughout COVID-19, we've actually been very efficient and effective in responding to all of your needs, requests. I don't think we've really skipped a heartbeat in doing that. So I anticipate that in our new normal going forward, we will continue to maintain a lot of that. I've established and we're discussing and getting some good feedback, workplace safety protocols and protocols to mitigate against illness, to screen for illness as well. And these are really self-reporting items that we want to make sure everybody's on the same wavelength. We're looking at guidance for managers, and this also includes how to maintain our vehicles and facilities going forward, our budget, and also COVID-19 reimbursement. Under the federal law, we are able to get reimbursement for expenses related to COVID-19, so they don't come out of your taxpayer money, ultimately. So I've established, along with Frederick Weno, with the town board's approval, a very strict protocol that would allow us to recover as much as possible for expenses relating to that. And then finally, but not least by any means, is implementing leave and other policies and changing of work schedules. There has to be a greater degree of flexibility. And then our last category talks about recreation programs, seniors, programs, live reopening at a number of our locations, as well as the fact that our trails, our parks, have and will continue to remain open, and we want to observe, social distancing and other factors. But it's beautiful fresh air out here today. I hope that's useful. But please tune in, to the board meetings that are on our various media, on our town website. This coming week, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be having important zoning board of appeals meetings as well as planning board meeting. In fact, we will be holding our first public meeting in the sense of open meeting dealing with a specific planning board request, an approval, and that will be open to the public to submit their comments, raise questions to the planning board. So please turn to our town website for further information. We'll also be publishing and posting information relating to that public meeting with respect to the one planning board request. So again, thank you all for your patience, your understanding, and you have our assurance, my assurance, that the town government and town board is making every effort, going beyond the call of duty in many ways, to address your concerns and needs to reopen as soon as we can. So thank you, and have a great weekend.